Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good day. Today we're going to go over the M method and how you can use it to check over your bike and make sure it's ready to roll before every ride. It's a very quick process, but a very important process to ensure you can ride your bike safely. Alright, the first thing you're going to want to check is your front quick release or your front through axle. To do this, just reach on it and pull it a little bit. If it doesn't come loose, you will be good. Now to continue with the front wheel, you're going to want to check your spokes. Just give them a quick little pull to make sure none of them are bent or loose. If so, you're definitely going to want to make sure you fix that up before you go on your ride. Riding with the spoke that's too loose or broken can lead to some pretty severe consequences. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to check is your tire pressure. To do this, just go and give your tire a good squeeze. You maybe even want to throw an air gauge on there. Your tire pressure can be really specific as to what you want to set it to, but just make sure you're not running too little pressure. This will result in a pinch flat and it could damage your rims, so definitely make sure you check your tire pressure before every ride. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to check definitely is your headset. To do this, go ahead and grab your front brake and then squeeze it and wobble the bike back and forth. If your headset bearings are loose, you'll be able to feel a wobble in this headset here. If that happens, all you have to do is loosen these two pinch bolts, slightly tighten this top cap, and then tighten these pinch bolts back down. And that will reset your headset bearings. Next, of course, this is specific to e-bikes, but you're going to want to make sure that you have enough battery to finish your ride. So go ahead and turn on your battery on the Cyberbike mullet. All of your displays are right here on this screen. So as you can see, I have 2 batteries. Normally if it's full, it will be 5, so I might want to charge this before my next ride. The next thing you're going to want to check is your crank arms to make sure they're not loose. Just grab it, give it a wiggle. We'll do the same thing over here. If they do wiggle, you're going to want to take your Allen key and tighten this bolt right here. That'll cinch it back up and make sure you're not riding with a loose crank arm. Next thing you're going to check is your pedals to make sure they're super tight. Best way to do this is take your 15mm wrench, put it right on there and give it a good tug. If they don't move, that means it's tight. And of course, you're going to want to do the same thing for your left side too. So just double check that. The next thing you're going to want to check on your bike is your rear suspension. Now you want to make sure you have air in there, that it's set correctly, and that it's cycling all the way through. Just go ahead and push down on the bike with a little bit of pressure, a little bit of weight, and make sure your suspension springs back into place. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to check is your seat. Just grab onto the horn here and give it a little wiggle. If your seat doesn't move, then it's tight enough. But definitely going to want to make sure you check your seat to make sure it's tight before you go on your ride. Alright, and as we move towards the back of the bike, we're going to check the same thing as the front wheel. We're going to check the quick release. We're going to check the spokes, make sure they're all good and tight, nothing's broken there, and then we're going to check the speed sensor. Now we're going to make sure the speed sensor is aligned so that way we can accurately measure our speed and distance while we're riding. Really important step. You would hate to be halfway through a ride and realize, oh, I forgot to check my speed sensor and now my ride is only half as long as it should be. So definitely make sure you check that and make sure it's all lined up before you hit the trails. Of course, you're going to want to make sure you have appropriate tire pressure. So go ahead and give it a good squeeze, give it a couple good feels, make sure it's set at the right one. Once again, if you want to be a little bit more detailed, you can even throw an air gauge on there and make sure that your tire pressure is set exactly how you want it. Alright, and last but certainly not least, we are going to check our rear derailleur. We're going to make sure that your swing arm is pulling right. We're going to make sure there's nothing stuck in it. We're going to make sure it is aligned correctly. That should be pretty much straight up and down like mine is right here. So that way you don't risk your derailleur going into your rear wheel here. Now, of course, it's always a good idea to shift your gears before you actually hit the trails to make sure that your indexing is done correctly. And after that, you should be good. Well, I hope this video helped shed some light on the M method and how you can use it to make sure your bike is properly set up before every ride. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below or email us directly. We'd be happy to answer any of them. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.